All right, welcome to the Championship Mindset Podcast. Happy Friday, another beautiful day on the planet. Here's the truth: if you don't train your mind, the world will. And the world's track record is not that great, right? So, this show is for athletes, parents, coaches, really anyone who wants to perform better, feel better, be better, live with more confidence, clarity, control. Okay, this stuff isn't taught in schools or anywhere else. As a former athlete myself, my career ended in an instant in an injury. Identity loss creeped in, life spiraled out of control. And years later, God put the top mindset people or mind people in my path. And they didn't just heal me, they trained me. And now I use that training and skills to help others take back control of their mind and manage their emotional states. Such a huge factor in life. And my passion is really helping kids and athletes ages 10 to 18 build the foundation mindset wise that no one teaches: identity, confidence, resilience, true grit, focus, all the things we need to perform our best in sports and at the same time in life. Okay. And this podcast supports that mission. And today's guest knows this journey well. Zach Lutz is a former MLB player, played for the Mets, went to Japan overseas and played, then came back and played for the Marlins, who lived the dream, lost his way after an injury, and then reclaimed his mind, similar to me, and rebuilt his life with new purpose. Now he's helping young athletes learn the skills needed on the field and in life: character, leadership, the right skills from day one. Zach, it's great to see you, man. Great to welcome you onto the podcast. How are you today?
Definitely. I appreciate you having me on. It's an honor.
Absolutely, it's fun stuff. Anytime I get to chat about this stuff, I'm passionate about it, and I know you are too, from what we talked about. So share
Oh
with
yeah.
everybody, where are you from? How did this all start? Did baseball pick you, or did you choose it? What influenced
hmm
you? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, of course. So I grew up in a small town called Moton, Pennsylvania. It's right outside of Reading, Pennsylvania, which is probably about an hour outside of Philadelphia. Um, and for me, I was brought up around the game. My dad is a college coach. He's a college coach at a small Division III school in Reading, Pennsylvania called Alvernia University. He's been there for 39 years, has over 1,000 career wins there. So I was just
Wow.
brought up and I was practicing, with a college team since I was 10, 11, 12 years old. So that's
Wow,
where,
that's cool.
yeah,
Oh, we lost Zach. Well, he'll be back in a second. Technology, you gotta love it. I see he's still there, but we can't see you, Zach. Can you hear me, Zach?
yeah, I got you.
I can't. We can't see you, but I can hear you now. I'm not sure what happened. I know Zach's doing it on his phone, so sometimes there's challenges if texts or calls come in. Can you still hear me?
Yeah, I got you.
Okay, yeah, we just can't see you. I don't know. I don't know why. Do you have a video button that you can hit and reset? Huh. Still can't see you. You there?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, I don't know what's going on. It's on your end there. Um yeah, I don't know. But anyhow, let's move on. Let's keep going because we can hear you. So go ahead, pick up where you left off. Let me remove them, add back in. Huh. Can you hear me? Well, in the meantime, I'll keep going on and just adjust, go with the flow of life, right? Challenges come for a purpose, right? It means we're ready to shift and adjust and lean into it. So, as Zach and I have been getting to know each other and talking, and as you were learning that he had some great experience being raised by a coach, his father, and I know he has kids himself, 9 and 8. Can you hear? Oh, there he went. All right, we'll see if he comes on back in. But in the meantime, we'll keep going here. Zach, basically playing in the major leagues was living his dream, and got hit by a pitch. And he'll share more about this when he comes back. But he got hit in the head, just below the helmet, and that injury really ended his career. He still has issues today from it with sight, all kinds of stuff. And we were talking ahead of the podcast here a minute ago. If he had to play baseball today in the dark, he couldn't at night, not in the dark, at night, because the dark and the light mixed. He couldn't do it. Um, so, um, and then he traveled to Japan to play professionally over there. So when he first started, he was with the Mets. I think he was there for like 8 years, and then went to Japan, came back, signed with the Marlins. I think it was for a year, and they just couldn't do it anymore because of the injury, but kept battling through it up until that point. And like me, when my sports career ended in an injury, like I said in the intro, my life spiraled out of control, and it was drastic. I didn't know I had lost all of my identity until years later. Here we go. Here he comes back. All right, there you go. We can see you.
Are we good?
Yeah, we're good. Can
Oh,
hear you too. Hey,
sweet.
man, technology, right? It's good when it
Got
works, not when it doesn't. So,
got to walk on the other
anyhow,
side
it's
of the
just
building. Jeez,
that's
yeah.
okay. No worries. I mean, this is
Hmm.
this is real life. So we just adjust and lean into it.
Yep.
So go ahead, pick up where you left off, and we'll keep going on.
Yeah. So, what I was saying is, I grew up just around the game. I feel like baseball just kind of picked me because, my dad being a college coach and, having that opportunity to be around older guys when I was such a youngin' coming up, I felt like I learned so much, and I felt like I was always kind of one step ahead of the competition, just from the baseball IQ side of it also, but then also from just, an overall physical standpoint of the game.
That's amazing. What a fantastic opportunity. I mean, because like what I help people learn when I work with them, and we've talked about this, is every experience that we have around us in our environment is programming, teaching us, developing habits, patterns, beliefs, values, all that stuff. And to have that in your path that early is amazing.
Yeah. Yeah, it was a blessing to have something like that, and that's what made my decision to go and play for my dad in college. Because in high school, I had a lot of interest from high level Division I schools. South Carolina was one of the top programs in the country at the
Yeah.
time, and they had a lot of high interest. But for me, I was comfortable. I wanted to go and play for my dad, and everything worked out.
And where did you go to college?
Alvernia University, and that's the biggest thing that people they try to grasp with is I went to a Division III school and I got
Yeah.
drafted in the fifth round by the Mets and ended up making it to the major leagues. So a lot of people always they always give a lot of grief about, D3 baseball and saying that
Yeah.
it's not good when that's not the case at all. There's a lot of good players that come out of Division III baseball.
For sure. And you hear story after story in any professional sports, undrafted players,
Yeah.
it can be anybody's dream. What we focus on is what we create, right?
Yeah.
So, and then when you have the type of guidance and foundation that you had early, man, that's phenomenal. Did faith play
100%.
a part in any of this stuff? Belief in Jesus Christ and God, faith?
Yeah, I mean, I was just brought up just around, a Christian family and just having that belief in God and, trusting, what the process is for me. Because there's sometimes you wake up and you're just like,
Yeah.
okay, like what is going on here? There's a lot of wrenches that get thrown into your way, and you're like, okay, that's when you just ask for a little bit of guidance, a little bit of help, and then next thing you know, something comes up, and you're like, okay, there we go.
Yeah. Ask, be aware, and make sure you
Yes.
understand in making decisions that you can control. Yeah, I've learned the same thing in my
Yep.
life. I didn't have it early on, and
Yep.
so when you played for the Mets, I think you said you played 8 years. How was that? I mean, what did you
Hmm.
notice in the major leagues compared to the foundation that you were raised in, the difficulties, the issues, stuff like that, that you had to maneuver through?
Yeah, well, growing up, I mean, I didn't grow up with much, if I'm being honest with you. I had my mom and dad, they both worked two jobs,
Yeah.
just to support the family. So with me, I think that's where my foundation came from, is I knew how hard I needed to work in order to get somewhere. But the best thing about my parents was they never forced me to do anything, which is a lot different than what we see in today, especially in youth sports. So for me, it was always like, okay, Dad, I want to go outside and hit. Mom, can you throw me some little wiffle balls to work on hand-eye coordination? Yes, it was never, hey, you got to get as soon as you get home from school, you got to go outside, you got to hit, you got
Right.
to do this. It was never that. If they
Right.
if I wanted to be great at something, they were there to help out in any way possible, but never forced me to do anything. So then kind of going up through high school, going up through college and everything, I was fortunate enough my freshman year at Alvernia, I was a first team All-American as a two-way. I got, first team All-American all 3 years that I was there. Then my junior year, I got D3 National Player of the Year. So I got a lot of great awards and all that stuff, but I never did it to get awards like that. Like I
Right.
just, for me, my passion was I wanted to be the best version of myself, and I wanted to
Beautiful.
win. And I knew like how hard I needed to work, because if I worked that hard, I know others around me, they would see that too. And then all of a sudden,
Right.
like we would start to win. And like my freshman year, we went 41-6, and that's the best that school has ever done in the 39 years to this
Wow.
day. That's the best the school has ever done, 41-6. But it's because people catch on to things. When they see somebody having success, then that gravitates them to go and do this. Man, instead of going out to parties at night or whatever, guys are starting to go down to the
Yeah.
gym, throwing a lacrosse ball off the wall, working on certain things.
Yeah, for sure. I'll never forget when I learned about Kobe Bryant, how he'd go to practice, then lunch, then practice, then
Yep.
everybody else would stop. He would go back to the gym, and he started this at 4 in the morning. And then other guys, just like you said, started to want to do it with him. Not
Hmm.
everybody. There was a lot that didn't, but there were a
Yep.
few that did. And it's the same thing. It's like contagious. Like you said, the energy
Hmm.
of it, people want to have more of that themselves. Whatever you had, they want, right? And that travels. And
Yep.
giving a child, like we were talking about this the other day, having, for parents and coaches, have an open mind. Don't direct and tell. Allow those
Yep.
kids to lean into how it feels for them and see it, and then do it based on what matters to them, as opposed to,
Exactly.
I want you to do this or that, or you know what I mean? They have to feel a part of it. And that is such a big piece missing today.
Yep.
So cool. I mean, what are the challenges that you saw major league players go through mindset wise?
Well, I'll tell you one thing. I think the biggest thing with my mindset was going from a Division 3 program,
Yeah.
very small. I think almost my high school had more kids in it than Alvernia. And then you get drafted, and then you get thrown into this fire of professional baseball. So one day you're just on the field in college with just a bunch of Americans. Next thing you know, you're thrown into pro ball. You get on a bus and you look, and you got to your left, somebody's from the Dominican. To your right,
Yep.
somebody's from Japan. Up here, Mexico, Venezuela, all that stuff. But for me, I took advantage of it because I knew, you know, how many great baseball players have come from overseas and all that type of stuff. So for me,
Yeah.
I wanted to get in close with them. So those are the ones that I hang around with. I hung
Yeah.
around with all the Latin guys because I knew what they went through. Like even after my first year, I went down to the Dominican at the Mets complex in the wintertime, and I was there for a month, and just to see how they train, right? And how that's such a third world country. Like I get it, you know? I get it. So then that just helped me with my career and it helped me play longer because I was such a good teammate and was always
Yeah,
there for everybody else. And it goes a long way.
yeah, yeah. So I mean, and obviously then you played at the Mets. You went to Japan
Yep.
then.
Yep.
Was that because of the injury that you had shared with me, or?
Yeah, well, with the Mets, it was just a better opportunity at the time.
Okay.
We had David Wright, who was a great mentor to myself, playing third base for the Mets, and going to go down as one of the best third basemen of all time. And then over
You
at
played
first base,
first,
we had
right?
guys.
You played
Yeah, then
first.
we played. Yep, and then I played first base, so we had Ike Davis and we had Lucas Duda. So for me, it was like with all the injuries that I had, whenever I was healthy and on the field, I always produced. So that's a
Yeah,
big reason why I stayed around is because the consistency. So it was just a better opportunity for me at that time to go over to Japan. It was a
yeah.
blessing in disguise to go over there. I learned so much. I had great teammates, so it was a good opportunity.
Wow, what an experience, culturally, everything, right?
Yep. Yeah.
Then you came back. Yeah, explain the injury that you had so people understand.
Yeah, I think my entire career was based around injuries, and they were more like freak injuries than anything. It was my very first game in professional baseball. I broke the arch of my foot, so I have a bunch
Hmm.
of screws in my right foot. I had to basically go through a year and a half to almost 2 years of rehab and back and forth on the DL, on not the DL. Like
Yeah,
it was a zoo, but then. Had some other injuries that came up, a broken handate bone, broken thumb, but the one that really, kind of shocked me the most was I got hit in the head with a 97-mile-an-hour fastball, and to this day, still have issues with it. Um, that's where it came, where I just had to take a step back and like listen, like all this time and effort that I put into this, it got
yeah,
to the point where I just couldn't deal with it anymore, you know? And I was talking
yeah,
about this earlier, saying if I was still playing right now and we had a night game under the lights, I would have no shot of trying to catch the ball or hit the ball like that.
yeah,
It's just how my body has kind of, reacted to it and stuff that I have to go through every
yeah.
single day.
Yeah, and then obviously it ended for you.
Yeah.
And like me, you lost an identity, right? And then what
Oh
happened?
yeah. So after I got done playing, you kind of take a step back and you look and you're like, all right, well, I put so many years, I put basically, 25 years of my life into this dream of getting to the major leagues. And
Yeah,
I got there, I accomplished it. Through all the ups and downs, I found a way to get there and, have some success when I was there. But then you
right.
take a step back and you're like, okay, what's next? Right?
Yeah,
So you, you get lost, in high school and college and pro ball, I never drank or anything like that. And as soon as I got done playing, it's like, oh my God, like my identity was baseball, right?
yeah,
So then it's like, what? So I started drinking a little bit. I had to go away to a facility for a little while, but that was the best thing that happened to me because it was, just a kick in the butt of like, listen, wake up, let's
yeah,
go. There's something better in this world for you than just playing in the major leagues. So now kind
good.
of regroup to where I'm at now and having the positive impact in kids' lives. That's where I'm at and I'm loving it. I'm having so much fun with what I'm doing right now because I know it's making an impact not just in the area, but now with LinkedIn and the connections that I build across the whole
Yeah,
country.
yeah. Yeah, that's how we got connected, and
Yeah.
our stories are so similar. Obviously, lots of differences, but for kids to learn, like what you're teaching, what I'm teaching, in different perspectives, in different settings,
Yeah.
mistakes are 50% of success. Failures are 50% of success. Challenges are for us. Okay, you face the challenge. Mine was an addiction to cocaine, and
Hmm.
alcohol and whatever. And I just wanted to feel different. And that's how it happens, right?
Yep.
If we train these kids, which I know you are now, in
Hmm.
certain ways to perceive things, perception is everything. They have those foundational character skills and everything to be able to navigate challenges. And we talked about this earlier too, having a direction instead of a goal. I see in
Yep.
helping professional athletes that they get to that end and they're like, oh my God, now what?
Hmm.
They
Yep.
didn't have a plan and they didn't have a direction or
Hmm.
a goal at that point to transition. A goal is a transition, a direction. If you go 2% in that direction every day, based
Yep.
on how your mindset is driving things and what you focus on, right? I mean,
Yep.
if you see that true as well,
Yeah, I mean, without a doubt, I think you hit the nail on the head with that. Is like when you get done, you look at your life and you're like, oh man, I'm going to play in the major leagues for this many years. I'm going to make this much money. I'm going to do this. I'm going to do that. And then when it doesn't work out, you're like, oh boy, what am I
right?
supposed to do now? But for me,
Exactly.
after that, I didn't really have a plan, you know? It was
Right.
basically like, okay, like what am I supposed to do next? But then you realize, like, man, I've been around the game my entire life, and I've seen it at the highest level. I've seen it in the youth. I've seen it in, high school. I've seen it in college. So now, with all the knowledge that I've gained throughout my career of playing across the whole country, I want to give
Yeah.
that back to the kids, right? And I feel like that's where I'm doing a good job at it because, I mean, you were saying with the mental side of the game. That's why I do so good at what I do. I'm not being arrogant. I'm just being honest, and I'm a
Yeah.
straight shooter. That's how I am on LinkedIn. But I feel like
Yeah.
I'm a really good coach because I don't put any type of pressure on the kids at all. And that is why they go out there and they have success. I see a lot of these kids in the mornings, and my son was one of them before with other sports where he would get so much anxiety in the
Yep.
morning. He'd be throwing up. He'd be like, I don't want to go. But now you see him, and now that he's playing for me, it's like he has that joy in the morning. He's dragging me, like, well, let's go. Can we go hit right now? Can we go? But it's every kid on the team. Every kid on the team is like, that's how they operate because they know
Yep.
that I coach with a purpose. When you coach
Yeah.
with a purpose and you're actually being out there and teaching and helping them make adjustments and not, you know, demoralizing them at all. Like that's the job of a
Absolutely.
coach.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I just started with another girl. She's 13, basketball, and we've had a couple sessions, and she's doing great. And last night at practice,
Yeah.
she was tired. She was not herself, and the
Yeah.
coach called her out in front of everybody, and
Yep.
then made the whole team do push-ups and running. And the team asked, "Why are we doing this?" And he said, "Ask her." She came home
Yeah.
bawling.
Yep.
Okay, that's not. This is not to beat up coaches or parents and some of the other stuff we're
Hmm.
going to talk about right now. It's to help them do better. We've got to
Yes.
have a good intention. We've got to have a plan. We've got to take the right form and approach of communication, and it needs to be positive. See positive in all the mistakes first,
Hmm.
positives in all the negatives, and it trains and reframes the brain to do that.
Yep.
And I use this example all the time. It's like when we get tests back in school, how many wrong circled in red? No, that's the opposite of what should be happening. Circle green, how many you got right?
Yep.
That rewards the mind and makes it more curious. What did I do wrong?
Positive reinforcement. That's it.
That's
Hmm.
right. And
Yep.
in today's world, I mean, I'm seeing the same thing. Parents screaming from the stands, coaches on Game Changer app worried about stats instead of that positive communication direction and helping them feel positive so they
Hmm.
can lean into that with purpose, right? And
Yep.
establishing that in the front end, like who wants to learn how to play better? Who wants to have fun? Who wants to,
Hmm.
get them to buy in and then go in those directions with the drill skills, the mental side of things, right?
Yeah. That's what it is too, and I see it all the time now, especially because I'm coaching a 10U team. Is I see how the parents are and how the parents act, but I can guarantee you this: not a single parent on the team that I coach acts out of line or anything
Yeah.
because they know what the standard is. Because I tell them, this is how you're
Communicate.
going to act. And if you don't like it, you are not going to be a part of this program. Even though if your son wants to be a part of this program, you are going to ruin it for everybody else in this
Right.
program right here. You know?
Right. And you're not
So,
being negative.
no.
You're not being negative. You're just setting a construct
Yeah.
of respect.
Yep.
This is one of the things I see people and children, anybody, not have enough of respect out of the gate. But
Yep.
when you start that foundation out of the gate, communicate and get
Hmm.
parents involved, because when they're screaming, they're not confident in the coach, and they want to see improvement or development in their kids, right?
That's where it comes back to. Usually when the parents are yelling, it's because they do not have the trust in the coach. And I see it, and
Exactly.
I see it all the time, and I see it just, from teams that we play against. You see parents behind the nets just yelling. I'm like, yeah, but like that's the coach. The coach needs to be the one that sets the standard, that sets the initiative, that holds the kids accountable to what they're doing. Now, if I'm a parent, now I can sit back, I can actually enjoy the game. I don't have
Watch.
to be saying anything, right? I can enjoy it and I can just have a conversation with the other parents because I know I have the trust in that coach. And that is what we need to do a better job at as coaches is okay, the communication aspect, but you also need to put your ego to the side. And
That's
when
right.
people like myself and others that I have on my team want to help out, just be open-minded to it. Because all we're
Yeah.
trying to do is help you out and help you or your business grow. That's it. I'm not trying to
Right.
steal anything, trying to steal anything from
Right.
anybody, steal players or anything. It's just to help out this country right now and youth sports just become better.
That's right. And develop kids, not just at the sport, because ultimately sports are going to end, right?
Yeah,
I mean, it doesn't matter whether they're professional and they play a long career, it's going to end.
yeah,
Who they are, it's not about the journey, it's who you become. And we need to guide as adults, as parents, as coaches, we need to guide and help those kids really understand what's important
yep,
as opposed to playing for wins, playing for plastic trophies and all this other crap, or playing for stats. How many wins do we have? You know what I mean? And I know I've seen this. I've been a part of this. Like what you're doing, developing them
hmm,
properly. There may be a rougher patch to begin with, but when you stay consistent to that course, all of a sudden they become the team, the better team, and they become winning consistently. And now they're winning tournaments and they're growing and they have fun along the whole process. And that's the point. It's not about bashing parents or coaches, it's about development of kids and human beings.
hmm.
And
I just
that's
gotta,
why I'm passionate
yeah.
about this.
Exactly. And that's why I want to give you this example of this past fall, put together a 10U team. There's a bunch of kids from my son's little league, a couple kids from the other little leagues around the area.
Mhm.
Just put together 4 tournaments. We didn't even have one single practice outside. We had our training indoors in our facility, but we didn't have one single practice outside on a field. But when we came to practice, we worked and they worked their butts off, right? And they learned how to work with each other. So we played four
Yeah.
tournaments, and 4 tournaments we made it to 4 championships. This isn't bragging saying, oh, it's because they all bought into the system of how I do it. They all
Right.
respected one another. And I set them up too in tough tournaments where I knew they would fail because I want them to fail to see how they come back. And for me as a coach, that's where I step in and I help guide them through the process because I failed at the biggest stage. My very first game in professional baseball in the major leagues against the Marlins at Citi Field, bases loaded. Who came up, pinch hit me, and what happened? Struck out with the bases loaded. You know what? Did I go in the dugout and did I sit and cry? No. What did I do? I kept my head up. I was a good teammate, and all of a sudden we won the game. Everything was okay. But that's what
Yeah.
I try to install with all these kids is I don't care if you strike out. I do not care if you make errors, right? You will
Yeah.
sprint on and off the field. You will play the game the right way. I will teach you everything there is about this game. And then what do you know? Now, just after 2 months of these kids being together, they're all best friends. They're all over at my house hanging
Yeah.
out. They're all setting up different activities to do.
Yeah.
That's what it's all about.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. And, with girls softball that I'm helping coach, I tell them, I want you to strike out. Why?
Hmm.
Because I know the mind.
Yep.
And when you tell somebody not to do something, they focus on more on the opposite.
Yep. Yep.
I want you
Hmm.
to strike out. And then they're like, all right.
Yep.
Whether it's
Hmm.
boys or girls are just a little bit more emotional. I've had
Yep.
this last year 4, 5, 6 girls bawling in the dugout, and then
Hmm.
go talk to them. I'm not the head coach, I'm helping, so it's not, but like what you said before, coaches have to open up their mind. They have to
Yeah.
be willing to change. And it has to be based on their intention. It can't be based on their ego, right?
Hmm.
It's got to be based. This is about the kids. It's about
Yep.
development and building better humans. Um,
There
so
are a lot of great coaches out there. There are a lot of great coaches out there, but there's also ones that think they know everything, where they need to step out and take a deep breath and be open-minded because it doesn't look good when you're a coach and you break a clipboard over your knee because you're mad because a 10-year-old struck out with the bases loaded. What does
right,
that do to that kid? Mentally, it defeats them and they are done. You have to have
right,
positive reinforcement, and every moment is a teaching moment. That's what it is. But it's not calling them out in front of all their friends and their teammates and all the people in the stands. What is that going to do to a kid? Why do kids, stop playing baseball at ages 12 or 13? Yeah, they might be burnt out because they're playing 80 plus games a season, which is just unheard of. But it's also because they're just mentally defeated because of a parent, just always breathing down their neck, or coaches that are just constantly just screaming at them rather than actually coaching them.
that's right, man. I'm, I get so you and I have since we've met and talked. I get so excited talking about this because
Hmm.
it's just so important.
Yep.
And I have a 9-year-old granddaughter that I got involved again in coaching because of her, because of this other stuff that we're talking about. I'm trying to guide and at the
Hmm.
same time affect other kids. Am I perfect? No, I'm perfectly imperfect, and I
Hmm.
appreciate that because that's how I grow. By
Yep.
understanding that. So, yeah,
People
everything.
people are just looking for guidance and somebody that they can trust. And when I speak to kids and I'm like, hey, like, how's your season going or whatever? And they're like, oh, we're winning a lot of games. I'm like, are you happy over there? And they're like, it's okay. I'm like, how's the coach? Is the coach okay? They're like, no, not really.
Right,
So then I said, take a step back. So the only reason that you're on this team right now at 12 years old is because they're winning tournaments. What sense does this make? Are you actually learning the game? Is he teaching you anything in the game? That's where I just get so, blindsided by some of these things. I'm like, what are you guys doing? You
right.
know?
Right. And the other part, this just came up the other day for me, coaches that go and steal players from other
Hmm.
teams and stuff. And this guy was commenting on it because he does this. He's like, well, your job is to develop the team. Yeah, well, that's not development.
Yep. Hmm.
That's just doing whatever you can for step back and what's the reason you're doing this?
Hmm.
It's for them,
Yep.
but the mentality the culture, the mentality, the mindset needs to be shifted in parents and coaches. Again, this is not to bash, this is to guide and help in the correct ways, in positive ways, right?
There's a difference too between, stealing players and then actually coaching the right way and having other players see it and they want to be a part of it. Right?
Exactly.
And that's what people need to realize. It's not, hey, you came into my program here and you stole these kids. Well, first off, you don't own these kids, right?
Right.
And second
Be
of
better.
all, if you don't like it, then coach better. Then do a
Right.
better job. Because I'll tell you one thing, you take any of my parents and they'll call up whatever organization it is and they'll say, you know what? We're gonna go there because we have full trust in what Coach Lutz is doing. That's it.
Right. And
Hmm.
you know what? If this pisses anybody off, they shouldn't be coaching.
I do not care if you like me or not. I do not care. I'm not here to make best friends or anything like that. This is just straight knowledge from the heart because I actually care. And
Right.
if kids want to come over and be a part of it, of course, the door's open. But I'm not going to go over and knock on a door and saying, "Hey, we just played against your team this past weekend. Your third baseman and your shortstop, I want them to come over to my team." No, and
That's so
it's
cheesy.
happening a lot right now too, where parents are calling me up and be like, "Man, like we played you in this tournament. The way you are and the way your players act,
Yeah.
we want to be a part of that." Exactly. That is why we're doing this. So now I know I'm doing a good job because
Yeah.
other people are seeing it, and that it's not just that, it's other people now on LinkedIn reach out, and then I help them, and then they help their leagues too. So it's
Right.
starting to catch on.
Exactly. And it's a shift in mindset. That's all it is.
Yes.
Based
Yep.
on what's important, what are the intentions, take the action, communicate, all of this stuff. I mean, it's interesting the pressure with you look at how what's happening, and all it's doing, if it's aside from what we're talking about, if it's the
Yep.
opposite, it's building pressure in these kids. Every single girl, boy that come to me for help for hypnosis, and switching faster how they feel, see, and what they're doing, so they can
Hmm.
get on that right mindset path with the mindset plan. They
Yep.
they they begin to they literally say, if I have to go through this every time before I practice or play, I don't want to play anymore.
Hmm.
Every single one of them says it, and I'm seeing more and more of this. That means we need to adjust the culture, the message, the skills, the technique, whatever. I mean, it's got
Hmm.
to be fun, fast moving, and the mind learns a lot faster than what we realize. So kids even
Big thing
more.
too, yes, exactly. All right. And the big thing too with coaching is you can't please everyone, even though you want to. If you have 12 kids on that team, right, there's always going to be somebody that's going to be a little kind of worked up of like, man, like, why is he hitting here? Why is he not getting too much playing time here? Well, okay,
Right.
let's have a conversation this instead of going over and talking to all the other parents about it. Have a conversation with me, or have your son have a conversation with me, because that's going to be more valuable. I want to have a conversation with him. It doesn't matter if he's 10 years old. I want to have a conversation with him and say, listen, right now, this is where we're at. Okay.
Right.
But this is what I want you to get better. And this is
Yeah.
A, B, and C, what I want you to work on away from the field. When you come to practice, you better focus on A, B, and C right here. But as soon as we break up here and you go home and you want to get out on that field and you want to have more playing time, this is what I need to get done. And I said, okay. So you give them homework, but that's the whole purpose of being a coach.
Yeah, right. Guide.
Hmm.
And you
Yep.
can add things in there.
Yep.
Visualization, powerful tool. Before
Yes.
practice, spend 5 minutes. See yourself how you want to play, how you're playing.
Yes.
Before a game, see what you want to do. Is it going to turn out perfect? No, but Zach, this is how we create our lives in reality. We
Yep.
see it. The process is just happening so fast we don't know. If we
Yep.
focus on, I'm not going to be confident, guess what? We just created an
Hmm.
unconfident person on the field. We see it. When we see it, we can feel it. And then when we put those two together, we can do it. Okay. Having a positive mindset, teaching them to find positives and negatives first.
Yep.
Because what is it trying to teach you or tell you? Reframe it. This takes repetition, but this is how the mind gets programmed and how it learns.
Yep.
Okay, it's just every worldly environment is programming us negatively.
I
Okay,
think I think with the big thing with coaches too, also to add on, is they need to have a feel. They need to have a feel with things. And I feel like I have a little bit more of a feel when it comes with things because I've actually, played at the highest level and I've played overseas. I played everywhere. And now it's full circle because I grew up with a dad that was a college coach.
yeah,
And now I'm back where I'm coaching my son. But it's like,
yeah,
okay, if I have a kid on my team that he's coming up to bat. The bases are loaded. And I see him and I'm like, you know what? Like, I need to have a quick conversation with this kid. So I'll call
Yeah.
timeout, bring him down here, and I'm like, hey, Johnny, what are you thinking right now? Like,
Right.
I know this pitcher's throwing pretty hard. I said, okay, that's great, but I know what you're gonna do. You're gonna get in that box and you're gonna hit a missile right back up the middle because I know you can do it, you know you can do it, and your teammates know you can do it. So let's
That's right.
go. But even if I do not think that he can do it, in his mind now, he's thinking, I'm the best player on the planet.
That's right. You're feeding the
Yeah.
information correctly in a positive way, and the mind takes over and uses that.
Yes.
It's exactly right.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I mean, it all comes in, and people don't have to be MLB players to coach. That doesn't that
Mhm.
that's your experience. Everybody else has a different version, but start with intention. If it's a
Yes.
positive intention, build around that intention and find resources and tools. I mean, there's so many of them that can help coaches today and parents help to
Hmm.
coach because volunteering is so important and it seems like it's dying.
Hmm.
Okay. And when you have a coach and you have a practice, if you have one coach, you need at least two other people to be able to run the right type of drills and have enough mix and have enough quick, easy things to learn and do and keep building because it's about development, not
Yep.
win. So,
The one thing I
dude,
can't stand with practices, man, is like the standing around. If you're gonna come to my practice, it's an hour and a half. You are gonna be moving and grooving the entire time. You do not have to. You don't have time to have a side conversation. It's you are locked into the task at hand and how you're gonna execute it.
that's right, man. When you go to the hospital and you see that
Yep.
flat line,
Yep.
that's when you're
Yep.
standing around. You're not
Yep.
improving. You're dying.
Yep.
And you're not growing. But we could
Hmm.
talk for so much, man, and maybe we'll have you back sometime if you want. But all of
Yeah.
this, thank you for coming, man. I'm honored to have you on and talk through this stuff. It always gets me going. This is what we
Yeah.
do, right? Just in different modalities. So if you could, man, one or two nuggets, and you've shared a lot already. If you could tell a parent, a coach, a young athlete, anybody, give them some advice to focus on one or two things, what would you say?
I would say to relax, number one, and number two, patience. All right. Everybody always wants everything as quick as possible. But when you
Right.
find the right coach, it's not an overnight fix with things. Right. You have to trust that person. And as a parent, like you
Yep.
have to be the one that's supportive of this. Like if you take your son or daughter to a lesson and you're breathing down their neck of saying, hey, you swing this way, swing this way, that's not going to do anything for them. So just
Right.
relax, let them have fun, let them learn, let them fail, let them make adjustments. That's what it's all about.
And be open minded. Let them find
Yes.
their way through
Yep.
failure. And
Yep.
if you have to get involved, come in a positive way, a helpful
Yes.
way, right? So great, man. I mean, I know this is so real quick. What do you do?
Yeah. What do I do? So
Yeah,
I'm
what do you
director
do
of player
now?
development. Yep, director of player development at All Star Sports Academy, right outside of Philadelphia, at our Conshohocken facility today. But we have seven different facilities. We have over 85 travel teams. So I help oversee all the development plans for all the kids, all the practice plans that these coaches do. We do coaches workshops. We do trainings with local little leagues around the area just to give back and to help them with their development side within their rec league. So there's a lot with that we do, and that's why I feel like that's what my purpose in life, and now I'm just fulfilling that.
Yeah, and you also have online stuff, right?
My online stuff, it's all just free out there knowledge to take it and run with it. That's what we have right
Awesome.
now. Everything that I post on LinkedIn, it's not anything to make a buck or anything like that. It's just throwing knowledge out there because I just want this to be just a better place, not just for youth baseball, but just youth sports in general. So then the connections that I'm building right there, a lot of good connections with a lot of great people from all across the country. So we're making a difference.
Now, do you work with places outside of your state?
No, just with All Star.
Okay,
That's
just
where
doing
that's
that.
where I'm
All right.
at. Yep. Yep.
How do people that may hear or see this, how do they connect with you?
Yep. The only social media that I have is LinkedIn, so I can send you over the link, Spence, or whatever to get that out to everybody. But I don't have Instagram. I don't have, Twitter or anything like
Okay.
that. This whole LinkedIn thing just kind of came up in the past, couple
Yeah.
months out of the blue. And yeah, I'm making some good marks on it.
And it's under your name, Zach Lutz, if people are on LinkedIn.
Mhm.
So how do
That's
they
it.
get in touch with your company that you're representing?
Of course, allstarsportsacademy.com. You can see all of our locations. We're in the PA area, more of so our locations are, we have one in Cherry Hill, New Jersey, we have Havertown, we have Conshohocken, we have Downingtown, Pennsylvania, we have Warminster, we have Westchester, I might be missing, oh, and Broomall, PA. So we have all those, we have teams, we have camps, we have clinics, we have all that good stuff, and we're just the leading one around the area.
Awesome, man. Just awesome conversation. I could talk about this all
Definitely.
day. And I'll
Hmm.
stay in contact with you. Hopefully, you want to do the same. And
Yep.
if anyone is hearing, seeing this, has a young athlete, doesn't matter if they're an athlete or not, by the way, or if it's an adult with bad habits, patterns, want to change things about, get control of their mindset, and manage their emotional states, or you have a young athlete, 10 to 18, collegiate, whatever, that is struggling with confidence, resilience, focus, any of that stuff, go to freedomandhealing.com, schedule a free discovery call, and we'll talk through it. You'll learn what I do with hypnosis and neurolinguistics, which creates magic fast, and how I customize each plan to each player. There's no cost, there's no pressure. Let's talk it through. I want people to make educated and confident decisions about their life and their kids' lives for the better. In the meantime, elevate your mind. When you do that, you're going to elevate your game. You're going to elevate your life. Be good to yourself. Be good to others. God bless, and we'll talk to you again soon. Thanks a lot, Zach, for being here.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
Absolutely.